My uncle did that, but he's dead, so it's okay. But no, he
Guys, controversy makes clicks, shares,
Oh, can you
face
imagine?
palm. No! So much to like. There's a new fear unlocked every day.
That's it. I don't know if we can say that or cut it. So what she was telling me, like,
your editing skills are going to come into
I
play
know.
there.
Hi, Hannel. Thank you so much for coming today. It was such a pleasure meeting you yesterday and talking about everything you do. I'm very excited to work with you because you have great ideas for property management and everything in between.
Thank you.
So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I love your place. This is very cool. I'm digging the black walls.
That was his idea. He changed this whole thing. This used to be my office with a desk, all very feminine, and then he came in and changed it. But it looks very, very cool.
He made it hip.
If a mess is feminine.
Oh my God.
I like it, Nico. I approve.
Yes, it looks very nice. So now this is our bat cave. So tell me when you started the business. Since when are you doing it?
So I actually started a very long time ago, just when I was 1 year old.
Yeah.
I started in real estate actually in 2003. I briefly worked, not briefly,
wow.
I worked for a title company about 3 years. Left there, I went to work for an appraisal company. I worked for a mortgage company. I got my MLO license. And then 2007 came around, and we all know what happened between 2007, 2008, and even 2009. So during that, I took a break. I stepped away. My license expired. My mortgage license expired. I didn't even renew it. And I went back to college and I finished my degree in marketing and did all that.
Oh, wow.
Did the corporate life for about 4 years. And then I realized corporate and I don't get along. Went back to real estate school. And actually, I was working in corporate, working on my master's, and I found like a little window where I could take the real estate course and get the exam done. I did. Don't ask me how, because with today's brain power, I can't do that. But I got it done. That was in 2016. So 10 years now.
Wow.
August will make 10 years since I got my real estate license.
So before you had a mortgage license, you started in mortgage.
I started in title and then mortgage.
Title.
And now,
Oh, so that's perfect. You have you know everything, so you know
Full
the
cycle.
ins and outs exactly.
Yes.
And then also property management. So
and now property management, yes.
So absolutely everything.
And I mean, and you know, in this industry, no two transactions are
Correct.
alike. You're always learning something new. It's always stretching you further than you thought you could go. So yeah, it's never a dull moment.
But I think the mortgage side, especially, it must come in very handy in the real estate transactions, because sometimes they think everything's so easy and you know
it helps, and especially because I started as a processor and then I got my license.
Wow.
So I learned the back end of that, and so when I hand over a file to a loan officer, I try to give as much information as possible. Before, when I was a processor back in 2005, I used to get a Post-it with a name and a phone number. Figure it out.
That's it. Oh my God.
Get all the information you need from that. Yes. I mean, and for some reason that was okay back then. That was embraced. I guess, it was also a very demanding market. So agents were just out there getting business. MLOs were out there getting business. The processor was really the backbone. I mean, still today, they are the backbone. Yeah. But, make it easier for someone who's handling multiple files and bring a more complete file. So I try to be mindful of that.
No, and it's faster. The more information you give them, the less time they have to be researching and just doing the work.
Right. And now as agents, we've learned, right, you have to get a client pre-approved before you even take them out. Back then, agents were not doing that.
I know.
It was crazy.
I know.
It was crazy.
It is crazy. Even if they tell you, I had a client that I had already sold him a house. He wanted to buy an investment property. So I knew that he had money, but he's like, don't worry about it. I'm pre-approved. Yeah, right. And of course,
show me the money.
Exactly. I didn't, just because, we say, okay, he's your client, whatever. And of course, he was pre-approved, but he didn't like the interest rates because it wasn't the primary home. So it was a lot higher than he was. I said, oh no, this as an investment property doesn't make sense at that rate. I'm like, see, that's why you have to do it beforehand.
Yes.
Because it wastes your time, my time. Why go through it?
Yeah. And that's part of our job, right? The education part. And a lot of people don't like to be educated, unfortunately. So it's an uncomfortable conversation sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. But it's a fun job anyway. Like you said, every
fun.
time it's different.
It's rewarding, I would say. For me, it's more of a rewarding thing. I probably take some cases a little more not personal, but like I guess I get too vested sometimes when it's a difficult transaction, and I'm always trying. I always like to help people, and sometimes we go above and beyond, even if the transaction doesn't merit it or the client doesn't merit it. It's just, if it's in your nature, it's what you're gonna do.
Exactly.
But you always want to give 110%.
Well, that's what we were just talking about. That you do want to give 110%, but that's not the case with everybody. It's not that you want to badmouth anybody, but honest, people say, and it's true, the real estate test and the real estate course to start is very easy. So everybody says, okay, let me get a realtor license and then I'll be a millionaire. Well, it doesn't work that way.
I don't know who sold this dream a long time ago, but somebody somewhere along the way made someone think that you get a real estate license and boom, you're a millionaire. You're making $100,000 next year.
Exactly.
That's not the way it works. And then there are a lot of people working in this industry, in this market. Pretty much everybody knows each other, or there's like a 2 degree of separation, right? But I come across agents that are not willing to go the extra mile. They're not as helpful. They're not as communicative. They don't even answer their phones. Some listing agents.
No, I say, do you want to sell or not? Yes.
I feel like those are the agents that are trying to double dip. But that's a whole other conversation.
That's true.
But so we are compared. Unfortunately, it's just human nature. We are compared to the worst of our kind. So you and I are out there trying to do the marketing, communicate, be transparent, go the extra mile, and then there are agents that are not doing that, so they give us a bad name.
Exactly. That's what I always say. Those are unfortunately, as in everything, when you have a bad experience, you tell everybody. When you have a good one, you tell no one.
Why are we like that?
I don't know, but that's human nature.
Why are we like that?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately. And in Miami specifically, in South Florida in general, real estate agents have a bad connotation. So when people ask what I do, sometimes I hesitate.
I know.
I'm in real estate and property management. I feel like the property management adds a little more professionalism. Yeah, sadly, it has a bad connotation. Sometimes you don't know which way to go or which way the conversation is going to go after that.
Right.
But as a female, especially, I see that it has a bad connotation because there are females out there that are advertising sex. It's just to put it bluntly. Let's call a bird, right? It is what it is. So that's what they're advertising, and so everybody assumes that young female real estate agent. Oh, is that code word for OnlyFans?
Exactly. I know. I had a client an investor that, since I work a lot with Latin America, somebody from Latin America sent it to me, and he was working with me. But I guess he had interviewed other agents as well, and the wife was telling me, no, yeah, I saw one of the emails that he received. The realtor was almost in a bikini like this in the signature, and she's like, you're not working with that woman. Because, like you said, they advertise other things.
Ladies, you heard that? You might be losing business. So something to keep in mind. Like, it is a professional. It is a professional position. You're walking and advising people through one of the most important purchases in their life. Sometimes even multi-million-dollar deals. Dress the part.
Exactly.
Dress the part. Exactly. Nobody's saying you can't go out looking sexy and wearing a bikini, but
maybe
it shouldn't be on your feed. Maybe it shouldn't be on your feed.
Have two different Instagram accounts.
Right. Or share it on your story, but not on your feed. Right. That I just feel like you have to separate the two. And again, I'm a girl's girl. I embrace, feminism, looking sexy, all of that. That's great, but you have to separate the two because we need to erase that bad connotation that this has for us, at least. Yeah. Men, why don't men have to deal with that?
As everything in life, we have to deal with everything that men don't have to deal with.
Again, we got the shorter end of the stick.
Always.
Yeah.
But you just have to, play the hands that you're dealt and do the best you can in what you want to do. I mean, just because other people do it, sometimes, like we said, sometimes you have to end up doing both sides of a transaction because the realtor on the other side knows nothing or just drops the ball. I hated those transactions that you are working with an agent. But the second a contract is signed, they disappear and they have an assistant doing everything for them.
I've been there. Yeah. Or a transaction coordinator. They don't show up to the inspection. The walkthrough is sometimes they send a form here. Exactly. And I'm like, did I just earn you your commission?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And it's a disservice to their clients, honestly, because,
I actually won over a client like that. A client came so this client was, I was the listing agent. Buyer came with this agent, and through the transaction, their agent disappeared, like less and less, around. And the second time around, so we closed that, whatever the buyer bought. Months later, I want to say almost a year later, that buyer called me. I never pitched him anything, but that buyer, obviously your phone number is public. They find you, they know who you are. It's on record.
Of course.
He called me a year later. He said, I want to buy another place and I want to work with you. And I said, are you sure? I don't like stepping on anybody's toes. And one client is not going to make me rich. And, I also don't want to burn bridges. But the guy said, no, I loved working with you. You were more communicative and transparent with us than our own agent. And, to me, that kind of reinforced or reassured me that what I'm doing is good. I'm doing a good job and that people are happy. So
of course,
I'm good with that.
And how do you mix the property management with the real estate? Like you offer it, I know you offer it also by itself, right? Not only on a package deal with
yes, absolutely. At PMI, we incorporate other brokerages. We attend the networking events, attend the Miami Realtor Association events.
Oh, you're a board member.
I am a board member for the Broward division, yes. And we try to just network, build relationships with all the agents across, the entire association. So now we have over 93,000 agents, as you know.
Yes. Biggest in the country,
so
right?
Our footprint in the world. The biggest association in the world. So now we have an even larger footprint to cover and new agents to meet with and network with. And we offer them the opportunity to work with us, partner with us. There's always a compensation associated with it. And we just try to educate. So the biggest goal is to educate agents in property management. If you take on the task of property management, there's probably a lot of laws that you're breaking. There's a lot of unethical things, behaviors that are going on, and they probably don't even know, right? So they're doing it naively. They're doing it to, one, increase their revenue and offer more to their clients, but at the end of the day, you're putting yourself in a position of more liability. So we offer education in terms of, this is how it should be done, this is what we're doing and how we're offering it. We're licensed and insured, and we're basically an extra tool in your tool belt. Hey, I have this property management company, they offer this, this, and this. You make the connection, client signs with us, you get a referral fee. And if that works out and you see that your client is happy, as an agent, aren't you going to keep doing it?
Of course.
So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great complement to being a real estate agent. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you want to scale your business, you want to have multiple properties. You can't do that if you're managing them yourself.
So do you have a lot of, I imagine you do, international or people, not even international, that don't live here, like they're not local, maybe they're from New York, people that maybe are snowbirds that maybe rented the rest of the year and are here for 6 months and
we have mostly investors that do not live in the country and they're not here most of the year and it's just a passive income for them. We have a handful that have it as an Airbnb. Like there's a couple that has an Airbnb up in Vero Beach. They bought it as their retirement home, but they're not ready to retire or move into it yet. So what happens is they have the Airbnb there. It's generating some income, but they use it whenever they want. They come, they fly down from New York. They take their vacation here. They enjoy it's their own home.
Right.
And when they retire, that's going to be their retirement home. That's going to be their little nook.
That is the great thing now that's coming more popular because a lot of the new constructions are letting you do Airbnb, like some of the ones in Brickell, in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that maybe needs to be revisited here in South Florida. There's a lot of restrictions like City of Miami, a lot of cities, City of Miami, Aventura, that I'm thinking incorporated cities mainly, have a lot of restrictions against Airbnb. And, that could turn away certain investors.
Of course.
Most people want to have their property available to them, but they also want that property to generate some business when they're not here. So, I know that unincorporated date. So if you ever have an investor that wants to do Airbnb or that type of STR, you want to look into unincorporated Miami-Dade. Folio 30, that specific area has no restrictions. So all the cities around that are restricted basically gives that, that region so much more business, so much potential revenue because the cities surrounding it have restrictions.
Yeah, we're incorporated here. And the one across the street, she does Airbnb. Her parking lot is full all the time.
Oh wow! But does it disturb you guys?
No,
do you guys have a problem with it? Yeah. So I don't understand.
They're not
why people have advocated for this restriction, but I guess we gotta respect. We kind of live in a big association, but not really in South Florida, where there are certain restrictions that things that you can't do.
But now, like in Brickell, you have some buildings that allow it and some don't. I sold a lot in Plaza. That's when I started, and I know there they give them like 2,000 a day fines if they find out that you're doing Airbnb.
Well, I'm seeing now that a lot of buildings in downtown, particularly, have a 30-day minimum. So the short-term rental has to be at least 30 days, and so if you rent it for 3 weeks, you can't rent until next month, right? But now there's also a lot of new construction buildings that are even offering. It's an STR building. It's
Correct.
It's open to that short-term rentals. The limitation with that is that if you don't use the in-house short-term rental service, then to hire an outside company, they make it a little difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No shade, but
oh,
shade.
I did not know that, because they do say that you have the option.
Yeah,
but maybe
in writing you have the option. You know, in theory, everything sounds great, right? But they make it difficult. Like somebody has to be there in person to hand the keys. You can't put a smart lock on the door. And I get it, aesthetics, all of that. But everybody should be able to
Who
eat.
doesn't have a smart lock on the door now?
Not on their condos, though. They don't allow it.
Oh, really?
If you're in a building, a condominium, they want all the doors to look the same. So if some people start putting smart locks and others don't have it, it kind of ruins the aesthetic, you know? So you have to be there in person to hand the keys to the guests when they arrive. And that's a limitation, right? Because if not, you could leave a lockbox somewhere and they open the lockbox. But there's ways around everything. If they do allow outside management companies to involve themselves in the ecosystem, we'll find a way.
Do you do more condos or single family, or is the same?
More single families. More single families, because the condos have, they have their restrictions, they have their limitations. So, and then really we don't turn down business. It's just that we happen to get more single families than anything else, because a single family with a pool definitely is. It's going to have a better chance on Airbnb. People want to come down here and they want to get in a pool.
And you advertise it? You do the advertisement in Airbnb and all the portals,
so we do Airbnb and VRBO.
But you put it up there for the client?
We list it for them. Everything. It's full service, yes, white glove service. And we mostly use Airbnb and VRBO. There's another website that I won't mention, but the demographic is not that great, so we don't use it anymore. And then our company is a super host. So we're on the co-hosting. We are on the co-hosting network, which opens us up to, somebody else in another network that wants to use us to help, promote their listings as well. So yeah.
Do you have any horror stories that you want to share with us? That's something that happened that you had to go and fix something that, because I know that
there's a certain Karen. Actually, that was her name, Karen, up in Vero Beach. A tenant that was staying for the month, and from day one, so you know how Airbnb works, right? You have a time where you check in, right? There's always, it's like a 3 o'clock, it's standard. It's 3 o'clock because the previous guest left, that morning, and you have a certain window to clean, get the property ready for the next guest. So this lady shows up 2 hours early. You don't get your instructions to check in until like 30 minutes before. So you get your code. So she gets there early, the cleaning crew's there, she starts calling. This lady has called, oh my gosh, I think on the first day I got 7 calls. The 2 days later I got another call. So every week there has been an emergency, and we every time we send somebody there, we have somebody there locally that went through the instructions with her, explained to her the process. Your check-in time is this time. That's why you didn't get a code. That's why the cleaning crew was there. The pool heater, it's not automatic. You don't just turn it on and it's heated. You have to give it a couple of hours. So if you plan to get in the pool tomorrow, maybe turn it on in the morning. Things like that to us is common sense because we do this every day, but not to guests,
Of course.
So that's been kind of a nightmare, I'm not going to lie. We had to eventually come up with a system where the calls are routed to somebody else that can handle them and kind of dispatch the person that needs to be there. But everything has happened with this guest, and the toilet went bad. There was some overflow going on, like just a code brown. We had a code brown. God. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. But, it's one of those things where it happened to be with this problematic guest that the toilet overflowed. But she's also been there for 2 weeks, so what have you been throwing in there? I don't know. Anyway, you just have to take it, with a grain of salt and always provide solutions, always be in touch, always be responsive. and do the best you can.
But on the other side, also, my nephew rented a house in that island that is in the middle between Miami
North Bay
Beach.
Village?
Yes, North Bay Village. And they got there, and the house was filthy. It didn't look at all like in the pictures. Of course, it wasn't managed. It was the owner. That's also why the owners, because he lost money. He lost that week or 2 weeks or whatever it was because they didn't stay there. They had asked for their money back because they got there and the house was just absolutely filthy.
But the money is nothing because you'll recover it. You know what really hurts you? It's the reviews.
That's exactly.
The reviews.
Exactly.
So once you have one bad review, and that's not a review that says, oh, the toilet went bad or the AC. Those are things that are out of your control. The AC going bad or the toilet overflowing, those are out of your control. But the fact that you didn't turn over the house and you got there and it was dirty, whatever the case, whatever they found, that's on the owner.
Exactly.
So that is a bad review that is going to stick. Because I know how to sift through like reviews that are, okay, that makes sense. Or, oh, no, that was just negligence, Those bad reviews, they stay with you. And people look, I make sure I scroll all the way down to see as many reviews as possible. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. So have him call us.
Yeah, well, my nephew, yes, he does it. But the Airbnb guy, absolutely, I wish I knew who it was. The same happened to us. I didn't leave a bad review, but I also didn't leave a good one because we got in California, the Airbnb we did. What you said, the AC broke down. It was that week that it was super cold in California for some reason. We didn't have heater. The woman was, oh, you can leave. I don't want to leave. I don't have anywhere to go. Fix it.
Oh,
and also it was her, and it was bad.
When it's things like that, I've always been mindful of leaving a bad review that I know it's unfair.
Right.
I give them direct feedback.
Right.
It's just like in everything in life. If you don't tell someone they're doing something wrong, they're never going to be able to fix it. So just give the feedback. If you don't want to leave a bad review, just don't leave a review at all.
That's what I did. Yeah, I don't like leaving bad because I know. And now that you said that, I said that people don't leave good reviews. Now that I know how important they are,
it's super important.
Leave reviews in everything I do. And I'm always getting, your review got 80,000 views because I'm always everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Because I know it's so important. I used to not care because I got referrals, like I said, from South America. And now, since I'm doing more here, I'll ask you I ask everyone to give me a review.
They're important, yes. And I just think of it this way. Every, property or business or Airbnb, even though we're managing it and we're a big company, it's somebody's house. Maybe it was their first house. Maybe it was their investment with their hard-earned money. It's a small business that's trying to stay alive. So I always think about that, and just keep those people employed, the crew that is supporting the turnovers, all of that.
Exactly. You have your own little economy there.
Exactly. You're keeping people. Yeah.
Yes.
You have a cleaning crew. You have maintenance people. The management company. Yes, absolutely. It's a whole ecosystem that you're.
I love it.
When you're keeping those businesses going.
Because you were doing real estate first. When did you decide that it would be, a good idea, which it is, to combine both, but like in a professional way, like you're doing it? I love it.
Well, I've been since, the market the last 2 years has been very rocky. Last year, as a real estate agent, I had my worst year. I have had always something on the side. I'm like the side hustle agent. So since I've been in college, I think I've had like 2 sources of income. So, but my heart has always been with real estate. So I don't want to involve myself in anything that will take me away from real estate or that'll ask me to hang my license. I will never do that. I'm a lifer, right? So to me, when this opportunity came around, it was perfect because it complements what I do already. I can involve, existing clients with this business and engage with colleagues out in the industry that, I'm already networking with them. So why not provide something of value to them as well? So I just thought it was it goes hand in hand.
But is it a franchise or it's your own?
Oh, yes.
It is a franchise.
It is a franchise.
Oh,
so PMI is the name of the franchise, Property Management Inc. And they're actually one of the largest property management brands in the entire country. Yeah, we're in like 47 states. And the brand itself has been in business a little over 10 years. 10 years, yeah. So they're very, there's a few principles that they stand very firmly on, and that is the PMI guarantee, which basically guarantees an owner. So if you're a property owner, you sign a PMA with us and we're managing your property. If we don't rent that in 45 days, your first month of management is free, right? So as we're trying to find a tenant, because as long as you're not making money on the property, we're not gonna charge you. So, but those 45 days guaranteed that we don't, your first month of management is free. Another thing that we stand very firmly on is most of us in this business are licensed real estate agent. I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I operate working as a BDM, business development manager for this business. But I'm, offering the service and connecting with other agents. So a question I get out there a lot is, how do I know that you're not going to steal my client? Well, if I start stealing clients from other agents, we're not going to be in business very long, right? Because if I steal a client from you, you're going to tell 5 agents. Those 5 agents are going to tell another 5 agents.
No, and I'll never send you another client.
And word is going to spread.
Yeah.
Right. So why would I kill that relationship? That just doesn't make sense. So for us, it's about growth. It's about providing value, and it's about engaging with other agents in the industry and educating them, really.
Of course. No, and I love that you have the systems, like you said, the guarantee, and then a specific time that they have to clean, they have to do. Everything's done.
Yeah, there's a protocol. So being part of a franchise, that's one of the many gifts that we have, is that there's a system in place and we just follow it. Right. So we have this. We have the marketing in place. We have the protocol. It's just a matter of locally applying it, getting our name out there, marketing, networking, all of that.
Very, very.
So when am I meeting with your clients?
I know. No, well, just like I told Kiki the other day, I am trying to get like a webinar going with the people. We have a WhatsApp group that one of our agents from Colombia did from LinkedIn. I thought, she went all over the Colombian big companies and tried to get the CEOs. And we have all these people together, and we kind of do little classes every 2 times a week. But I wanted to do like a webinar, and not only talking about real estate, but talking about the whole thing that we do. That everything else is just things that if you hire us to buy a property, you're going to get all these people that are going to manage everything else, because they want to have, especially if they're not here, they want to have a one-stop shop. Okay, if I talk to you, like now, Andres, he had this issue with the mortgage person. He said, okay, let me send you the email he sent me and try to figure it out. You try to fix everything for them because they don't know.
Because you are their eyes and ears.
Exactly.
Here, and they trust you already.
Exactly. So. If they trust you, they're going to trust the people that you recommend.
Right.
So I try to, of course, to get my team that are people that are trustworthy, that are professionals, that have been doing this for a while and know how to take care of the clients.
That's great.
So
you have a great
I want
network
to do that. I want to do that webinar. I told Kiki, because that's also something great to do, especially what I was telling you about our neighbor. They want to kick her out. So, and the house, of course, it's a house that they've been there for 80 years, or I don't know how long.
We just need to get an investor over there, knock on the door, make an offer.
I know. You're a governor now. You have, I'm sure you've gone to, I know Road does it all. They go to Tallahassee and try to change. So that's something that you guys can do on behalf of realtors, is change some rules following, ethics that they try to hammer into us, but they're not that much enforceable, I think. I mean, you know better than me. So what could be done to be able to get people really to take their job seriously and work professionally and ethically?
There's a lot of unethical behavior going on. You know what one of the main issues is that we're not reporting it. So it goes unseen, unreported, and it continues to happen. So we as agents and members of the board, we're here to advocate for you guys, for other agents in the industry, to make our and your job easier. We're not about like changing legislation, because that's at the state level, to make it harder, right, to become a real estate agent, because I think ultimately that's where it's leading to. But I think if enough grievances are reported of unethical behavior, then it'll make a case for that. But at the end of the day, I remember in my early days, especially as real estate agent, where I didn't really know 100%, not what I was doing, but maybe the rules of engagement or what was correct and what wasn't. And I look back now and I remember those experiences and I think, oh, wow, that agent did something that was unethical. And I know that now because of what I know, my knowledge, my experience. And I remember I went to a class for, I think when I was getting my SRS designation, and the instructor said, there's a lot of unethical behavior out there and you need to report it. Because that's the only way that anything is going to change in our industry. Agents that either don't know how to, don't write a contract correctly, or they maybe don't follow the timelines on the contract, or they do things that are unethical, or they share the lockbox code with a client. They're not, things like that. If you see it, report it.
Well, I reported one, and the only time I've reported, and they came back saying, well, there's not enough evidence, so we were not going to do it.
You reported it to who though? MLS?
To FREC. To FREC.
Oh, got it.
And they just came back saying No.
Yeah, well, definitely there has to be supporting documentation. Sometimes
That's true.
you have to
I
prove
know.
it because it's
Well,
not
I
what you
sent
did; it's what you
emails.
could
Yeah,
prove.
it's like this person. We sent an offer. They wouldn't respond. Yes or no, nothing. I always go because I'm a broker. I know. I immediately go to the broker when the realtor is not the broker. The broker was even worse. They wouldn't respond. I mean, I sent an offer. Okay, if you're going to deny the offer, just tell me, but
Right.
just not. You send an offer and people don't even. That might not be, I don't know, a crime, but it's unethical for sure.
Right.
So, and I had the emails, I had everything, and they wouldn't respond. And once I told the broker, okay, then I'm just going to report it to Frank and then he answered me. Now you're not too busy. Once I complained to you, now you have time to talk to me. But I still reported and nothing
You use
happened.
that magic word.
I know.
Well, I'll end it with this. One, a realtor that I work with, she's not in my brokerage, but she's just a colleague that has been, I've been working with her to refer business to the management company. She told me she works with a lot of investors that also come from Colombia, but they mostly buy in Orlando. Prices are more friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And that he had an agent up there that was managing the property for him. A few months go by, the property's not rented. She keeps giving him updates. Property's still not rented, I think 4 or 5 months later. And he gets in contact with Fiorella, with my colleague. And she's trying to mitigate what's going on. Why is it not renting? Have you lowered the price? Have you done this? Have you done that? To make a long story short, the owner took a flight from Colombia to here and then drove up with Fiorella and found out that she had been renting the property to somebody and pocketing the money. Somehow she found the money and paid him back for the amount of time, because he got to the property and spoke with the tenant. The tenant told him how long they had been living there, so he already knew how much money she had pocketed. So he said, if you don't find me the money that you have been collecting from my property, I'm going to report you. Since he got his money, he never reported her. Those are the things that need to be reported.
Oh my God.
Anyway, out of that was our gain because we got that client. However, those are the things that need to be reported. People like that should not be operating in our ecosystem. Those are the ones that give us a bad name and make the rest of us look just like her.
Oh my God.
So it would be maybe having a requirement that somebody has, high school diploma is already a requirement. But I think maybe like a 2-year degree would make sense.
A bachelor's degree, honestly.
Even a 2-year, an associate's. Just like you have to work 2 years as a realtor before you can get your broker's license, you should have to work at least 1 or 2 years in this professional environment as staff. Well, there you go. There's your answer. If you can hang in there for 2 years as a staff at a brokerage or in the business at all, then, I think that's the way to, just like when you're becoming a GC, right? You have to be an apprentice. And you have to have a certain amount of hours on, like with another contractor who is licensed before they can sign off on, okay, you have electrician experience. Okay, you have experience in this. You have same thing.
My uncle, he was a licensed electrician, so he had his license. He would sign for other people that didn't, that did the electric work, and he would sign it off.
Yeah, but then that's on the person that is signing. That's
Correct.
on that professional. Shame on them for allowing somebody like that, putting them out in an industry where you're responsible.
Then it falls on the brokers, I think, saying how I do it
It should be brokers that are signing off on this. Because it's on them. Their license, you're signing off that this person is experienced.
This is what I do in my brokerage. The first five transactions, they make only 50% of the commission. Why? Because I do all the work with them, and they're by me. They see how I do the contract. They see how I do everything, but I do everything, and they're beside me like an apprentice. And after those 5, then they go, to a higher commission. And of course, I'm still there. That's what my brokerage is very small. So I do, but at least they already saw how I did the first 5.
Right.
Because there's some that just go out there. They don't know how to do a contract. They don't know how to do anything. And they're just, out in the wild.
I think that would be a great way to combat how people complain. I mean, I've complained about it myself. It's too easy to get a real estate license. Yeah, for some people, yeah. So maybe have more of a requirement than a high school diploma, right? Maybe either a 2-year degree or have a broker sign off on you having been working underneath them. Maybe make the process to get the first license a 2-year process where you take the course, you go work under a broker. That broker is going to sign off that you know what you're doing and you can get this license, and then you're out in the ecosystem. So it's on that broker if they lie.
Exactly. But then don't, do it because it's better for you. Because if not, they're complaining to you. I had to, well, I don't know what, I had to pay, I've never had to use my errors and omissions in 20 years.
Good.
It just happened to me 2 years ago. And I'll tell you why. I didn't even know. And I changed my rules also after that. One of my agents, it was a rental. And he put on the remarks, I think the broker remarks, no criminal background. That's it.
No criminal background for the rental?
Yes. Well, then somebody, I don't know if we can say that or cut it, but this African American felt that was discriminating against African Americans.
So you're going to say this individual, okay, who happened to be...
Yeah, and so this attorney, and I'm like, what is he talking about? And then I saw that it wasn't mine, it was my agent, but of course everything falls on you.
He felt that it was discrimination?
Yes. So then the attorney, my insurance said...
Discrimination against who?
Against African Americans because they have a bigger criminal background than other people. Well, my attorney said, yeah, that's not even illegal. If I didn't catch it, if I had seen it, I mean, I don't put it in my remarks, but I didn't even see he put it there, but it didn't even raise a flag. I don't know. And the attorney said, yeah, you can fight it because it's not illegal to say that, but it's going to cost us more. So
money,
us
right.
as an insurance, we're just going to pay him whatever. So the guy made, I don't know, like $7,000 for suing me for doing that.
I think that there are people out there just like looking, who can I sue today?
You think? Of course.
Wow.
Can you imagine? After that, I'm like, nobody's putting anything. I have to see it before you
So
put it
his
live.
claim was that was discrimination
Against African Americans.
because
they have a higher percentage of people with criminal backgrounds.
I feel like he's discriminating against himself. Okay, that's just me.
And anyway, even if you don't put it, I tell her, don't put it because you can reject anybody you want for no reason. And that I learned.
Absolutely.
I remember I always I have a client that is very picky and she never wants anybody to say, why? Why are you saying no to him? Because I have to tell them. I don't have to tell them. You can just reject whoever you want.
That's why it's very important what you put in those remarks and how you phrase things and maybe seamless screening process sounds a little friendlier. I don't know.
Or nothing. You do the screening. If they have a criminal background, you say no.
Correct.
That's it. And you don't have to give a reason.
It's really at your discretion. But I understand. But I understand why the agent did it. It's kind of like letting people know, hey, we're open. It's open to any.
And it's fun, but not fun. It was this guy that bought $1 million from me. He said, when I told him, he was in shock, like, tell them I have a gazillion African-American tenants because he has a whole bunch of properties. And it's true. It's like, I don't discriminate.
I don't care.
I
don't discriminate.
I just don't want them to be criminals, but everything else, it's fine.
Oh my
Said,
God.
yeah, maybe you don't, but you can't put it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So can you
face
imagine?
palm.
See, I tell everybody because I was in shock that happened. So you have to be so careful.
And is the agent still with you?
No, but not because I kicked them out, but yeah, no. But now it's like I said, I'd rather check everything that they do before it goes live.
You know, if you have obviously the budget or the availability to have maybe somebody doing compliance checks on all your listings that get posted.
See.
I'm surprised the MLS didn't catch up before, because usually they send you a nice little email.
Yeah, but because it's not illegal. I think it's just because it's not illegal. It's just like you said. I mean, people, and I know that's what it was. I mean, there's this attorneys, because I'm sure the guy was the attorney, because if not, he wasn't going to be paying attorney fees to make $5,000.
Right.
So there's people that go all around saying, oh, let me see what I can catch. And they got it. Because I think it was even in the broker remarks. So it was even someone that had access to the MLS.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
So I'm sure they didn't catch it because they didn't even, I don't know. I don't know.
Such a fun industry we're in. There's so much to like. There's a new fear unlocked every day.
It is crazy. Yeah, you learn something every day. That's what I tell people. That's why you need people that are experienced, because I've been doing it for 20 years and I still learn something every day.
And or careful. Like they're gonna run things by you. If you have a doubt, just ask.
Yeah. What brokerage are you in?
Luxe. Luxe
Oh,
Properties.
okay. So that's not a huge, is it big?
Yeah.
Okay, then
10 offices.
Okay. But I had I had one of my agents, she left because she wanted to go to a big brokerage, and she went, I think, to Coldwell. Well, let me not say, because I don't want to. She left because she wanted like a bigger place that had more training. And then the training that we do, I give them a schedule of the things to do at the board. They have amazing training. And then on the job training that I do with them. But like, why we don't have a training department? We were 5 people. So she left. And when she came back because she said, yeah, they give you all this training first, you pay for it. And then she had to make appointments to be able to talk with the brokers that she was assigned to, because of course they have a gazillion brokers in the big companies. So she had to make appointments and, talk to the person for 30 minutes a week or something. And she was used to like being next to me all the time. So she saw that as a difference as well, but also maybe in a bigger company they would have caught that and not.
Possibly, it's possible. Yeah.
So right, there's trade-offs.
There are trade-offs.
But because I didn't catch her because I didn't freaking know, and it was like 2 years ago. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time when that happened, but
that's unfortunate.
Live and learn.
Live and learn. Exactly. That's it.
So yeah.
Are you speaking of? Since you're an ambassador for Miami Realtors, are you going to the Roundup event next week?
See, I don't think we know about it yet.
What do you mean it's an ambassador event?
Yes, but they sent an email yesterday saying we're going to drop volunteering things, next today. So I probably have to sign up today.
So May 14th, Miami Realtors is hosting an event at Roundup, which is a Western type of, bring your cowboy boots and hat. And yeah, it's open to whoever wants to go. Obviously, agents have a discounted rate, and ambassadors, it's an opportunity for you to gain points. So I'll be there. Bring your cowboy boots. I'm excited about that.
Going. I went.
It's gonna be super hot. Super hot with cowboy boots.
Oh, I love it.
And jeans.
I went to school in UT in Texas. So I used to go square dancing all the time.
You gotta show me. I don't know how to do it.
Because you'll learn easily because it's not similar, but kind of similar to merengue or whatever. You have your.
Show me.
I will show you that day. I will show you that day, and you're going, so you're doing the content.
Oh, okay. Alexandra's going too. We'll see you there.
Why do you think real estate just attracts those kind of people? I'm sure they're everywhere in other industries, but here it's so common.
I mean, we can speculate. It could be a lot of things. It could be maybe that's how they operated. If they lived in another country, that's how they operated there, and it wasn't something that was, the consequences were not as severe as here. And then there are people that have lived here all their life, and like the Alexandra brothers. Well, their crime was not real estate related; it was something else.
Oh my God,
I
know.
But they got away with it for so long that they got comfortable, right? So if something goes unreported, people get comfortable. They continue doing it. They get away with it once, and they think, "Oh, I can do this again." So that's why it's important. If you see something unethical, try to gather information and report it, because that's not helping our industry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it happens a lot in a lot of industries, because you hear contractors that come to fix your house and then they leave it halfway and leave.
But that's the important. Okay, so that's another thing. That's the importance of hiring somebody licensed and insured, because those people can face consequences, right? An agent might lose their license. Yeah, I mean, to them it might be a big hit, their lifestyle, their everything, but they'll find another way to make money.
Right.
But a business that has employees and a whole ecosystem that they're keeping alive, they're going to face real consequences.
Exactly.
So that's the importance of every time you do something, a big project in your home, make sure you get somebody that's licensed and insured.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Or accept the consequences and just know what you're getting yourself into, and that's it.
Just because you want it cheap, exactly.
Correct.
We just had a client that he just wanted to get cheaper people here and there. It took them 6 months to finish a project that could have been done in 2 weeks, because people would leave him hanging and not come for a month, and he couldn't complain because he was paying 2 cents.
You get what you pay for.
In Latin America, the culture is that a lot of people work with friends, or you give him, you slip
There's
him
a
something.
trust.
Yes.
There's a little bit of trust.
You slip it, but we have a client that he's been trying to buy here for a year almost or more, and he's always telling me, no, because my people haven't paid me, my clients haven't paid me. I'm like, how can it be that they can't pay you? I mean, don't you have a contract that they're supposed to pay you? He's a developer there, and he's like, no, they haven't paid me.
That's the island mentality.
Oh my God,
Dominican
honestly.
Republic, that's a big problem.
It's crazy. The mañana.
Mañana.
That was so funny. When I lived in Spain, I worked a lot with British people, and they always called us the mañana attitude, because when you're in Spain, No, let's do this. I know, mañana. It doesn't, you have to come back mañana. And the next day, they just, pick up whatever it was and give it to you. You couldn't do that yesterday, no. Mañana. There's a lot more fraud. So people are so afraid.
There's a lot less consequences. And that's why it lends itself to that happening.
Yeah, maybe there's less regulations as well.
Less regulations.
We just had a conference call yesterday with an attorney that he says that he'd rather people come to him before they have all these issues, because he was telling us people that send here $50,000 and then the money disappears. So a lot of them have, are worried and scared of doing that, rightly so.
So they come to him once they're broke and they can't pay him.
Exactly. But the thing is that when they tell me, no, but where's when they have to pay the escrow, he's like, where is this money going? I don't, how I don't have the house yet. Why am I giving this money to someone? I said, you're giving it to a title company. If those people keep your money, they lose their license forever and they're not going to be able to work.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to do that for you, because in Venezuela, how many, especially realtors, tell me that I work with them. It's not like here that we get paid at closing. He's not getting his money. The seller's not getting his money if we're not getting our money.
Right.
But in Venezuela, in Colombia, the same. Like, there is no
regulation.
There's no regulations at all. So the seller says, okay, I'm going to pay you this amount. And when the closing comes, he can say, no, I'm going to pay you half of what I told you I was going to pay you. And
because there's nothing in writing.
No,
the same
so it's
thing,
rude.
It's the same thing in Dominican Republic. That's where I'm from. And you don't even need a license to be a real estate agent. You could just put on a hat one day and say, hi, I'm a real estate agent. Let me sell you a house. And boom, that's it. Yep. There is no regulation. And for that reason, they can't enforce something that is not in writing, right? There's on paper. There's no rules. So yeah, there's no enforcement, no consequences. So
and in Venezuela, it's basically like they are the title company. They say like, what? They have to go and register the sale at the courthouse or whatever it is. They have to do so many things.
Same thing over there. That's why there's a lot of title fraud in those countries. Correct. Because you think the house is yours. You never went and registered your house. There's no owner on record. Guess what? Somebody else got ahead of you and they're the owner. And now you have to fight that and somehow prove. It's crazy. People think real estate is crazy in South Florida. Oh, God, you have no idea. Go to Latin America and try to practice real estate.
I know. That's why they're so afraid. And that's why we have to educate them every week.
That's why there is a lack of trust. Yes. And education plays a big role. And most everything that we do, the biggest part is half education, half managing expectations, right? Because if not, people think one thing and they have a certain expectation and then they might be disappointed. So, yeah, we're teachers, we are psychologists, we're babysitters, because I've even had to watch the kids while they're looking at the house, and it's a lot.
We're even movers. I don't know who I was telling you.
Oh, no, I draw the line there.
Oh, God. But Vanessa, this client of mine, she's been a client forever.
Vanessa has come up twice. I want to meet this character.
Well, she's great. She's been a client of mine forever. And that's the one that I told you that she's just having that 45,000 assessment and she's freaking out. But when she sold, the very first home she sold with me was her family home. I mean, the family vacation home, because she's from Venezuela. But it was, Venezuela, you can go, maybe leave, you cannot leave. Maybe there's a plane, maybe there's not. I mean, that's how it is. So she couldn't come. Like, she was coming like 3 days before the closing to move, to get her stuff out of her apartment. And she couldn't come. So I had to do the whole move for her because she wasn't here and we didn't want to, postpone the closing. So I had to move.
When you say you had to move for her, what did you lift furniture?
No, but I had to. No, can you imagine? No, but I had to manage at least getting the stuff out because it was all her parents'
project coordinator. Add that to the list. We wear many hats. We wear many hats, so that's why I take extreme offense to when people dumb down what we do and say that it's too easy to. Well, maybe it is a little too easy to get a real estate license and kind of diminish our value.
Or when they say, no, you just open houses. So you're making $10,000 for opening a house. Yeah. I'm going to do that post too. I love one that says, we just closed a house. But before this, we had 1,000 emails, 500 phone calls, 300 texts. I don't know how many visits.
Negotiations back and forth. This many contracts fell through. Yes, all of the above.
Oh, yes. That I went a week or 2 weeks ago to the cleanup. Did you go
on
to
the beach? I didn't get to go, no.
I went to the one here in Biscayne because I know there was one in Hollywood, but I went to the one here.
Yeah, I wanted to go to the Hollywood, but I was actually working with a member of the Miramar Pembroke Pines Chamber of Commerce, and I was working with one of the members there on something that she was gifting to her group.
Are you in any of the Chamber of Commerce's.
So Miramar, Pembroke Pines,
Mhm.
Miami Lakes, and then we're looking to join a BNI group. But the BNI is a commitment.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to tell her, and you know everything about it. But I don't do it well. You can do it with me at a property management. You can be a realtor because I'm the realtor.
But
Because I told you,
But which BNI are you a member of?
did you remember my story yesterday? I got this. My chapter got dissolved.
Oh,
like
that's
2
right.
months after
That's
I joined. So I know.
I've never heard of this happening.
Don't tell me. He was the one that told me because I've been trying to join
Create a
BNI
new
for a
one?
long
Are you
time.
trying? So you're trying to create a new one? You said, right?
Yeah, we're launching it.
Okay.
I just don't know how. So he was telling me, join BNI. But like I said, he revamped my whole company when he joined. So I wanted to join BNI, but I could never get a seat as a freaking realtor because it's so hard. So I finally got one, and the chapter got dissolved because there's only 6 people. So now we're launching a new one. The director called me and said, well, what do you want to do? Because there's no place for realtors. We can launch a new chapter.
Yeah, you
I
might
said,
as well
okay,
do that.
fine.
You should consider not doing every week and meet in person because that's where it gets difficult for a lot of people.
We're doing hybrid. We are meeting either once or twice a week around Coral Gables. We don't know where it's going to be the meeting yet. I want to do it in Pinecrest, but I don't know if we're going to do it. But the good thing is that I got like my title company. I got my people arrived.
Okay.
So that was the good thing about launching a new chapter. And I got, that I was able to tell, like to choose the day that we're meeting. We're doing a lunch instead of like at 7 a.m. like all the other chapters.
That's actually better. Yes, that's 7 a.m.
I'm fine with the 7 a.m. But I have a friend that she has a construction company, so I wanted to bring her. And she has little kids. Everybody that has young kids can't do 7 a.m.
No, that's hard. Yeah.
So the lunch is going to work for those people.
Okay.
I don't know if we have a property manager. I know because we have a launch director that is like handling everything. But we do have a lot of people now. You're supposed to have, I think, 8 to start meeting, and then you have to have 15 to actually launch the chapter. So that's where we are right now.
Okay, let me know. I mean, where would you meet when you do meet?
We don't know yet. They said they wanted to do it Coral Gables around here because I think at least the ones that I've gotten are around here. And it would be either once or twice a week. I think to start, we're going to meet once in person and then the others in virtual.
Okay.
But I'll let you know.
Keep me posted.
I can give you
I'll
or
let the guys know. It's whatever they want, obviously.
Of course.
But yeah, I'll let them know.
Because I think, I was just there for 2 months and my chapter was a mess. But
you saw the value in it.
Oh, well, I got a referral. And we're closing in a month.
It works, okay.
So, and I got it
definitely
from
made
Utah
your money
because the guy had someone selling in Utah and moving here. He's from BNI in Utah. And he went to BNI and he saw my profile. That's the good thing about also filling out your profile correctly. And he saw that it showed, I guess, that I would get along with her client. He knew her client. He saw my profile. And really, we're smart ladies. We're best friends. She's amazing.
Wow.
And she's closing. I showed her a few properties and she's closing next month.
Wow. Okay.
So it does work because what I like about it is that most people there, I think all of them, are like real professionals that really are serious about
they mean business. It's like the people who work out at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., they're there for business. The people that come after, they're socializing, their hair is done, it's a little different. They're just flexing their muscles. Yeah. These people mean business. That's what
those are not my people. No. Yes, thank you so much for coming. I'm sure we're going to be working together a lot.
I look forward to it.
And we will definitely call you for a webinar, and I'll keep you posted about the BNI chapter. Hopefully this one will be, I'm sure it's going to be more successful than
I look forward to it. Thank you for having me. It was great.
Thank you.
Great time.